Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. My goodness, these weeks absolutely fly by. I do one Tuesday and all of a sudden I turn around and another Tuesday. I have Sean Richards with me. He's a very well-known actor in Las Vegas, which is really cool. But he's not only an actor, he's a producer, he's a writer. Richard, Sean, how are you?
I'm good. How are you
good?
doing? Yes, I'm very good.
He was supposed to come on my show last week, but the reason I'm not upset with him is because you had some work to do. I mean, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
you get as much work as you can.
Yeah.
Because Vegas is the up and coming movie industry, I think, isn't it?
Seems to be a lot of growth. There's a lot of events here all the time. Working in productions. It's a lot. That's what Vegas is all about. It's about productions. It's about events. It's about.
Has to be. I mean, they have so many events here because you've got all the conventions that come in, and with those you've got hundreds and hundreds of companies come in with them.
Right, and I heard it's the number one city for growth in the United States. So there's that too.
Yay!
So.
Did you hear that? Vegas is the number one growth in the United States. So that makes Vegas Live with Ninon look good because I like to be at the number one. Absolutely. I just want to give a shout out. We don't have the Pepper Mill. And I was just looking at this thing and it was saying Pepper Mill during all college and pro football games, from Thursdays to Mondays. They've got this Corona thing for $25 and you get a bucket of all this beer and everything. That's pretty cool. So I haven't given them a shout out before on this, but I think buy a bucket and add something else to your mini margarita. You get a few things down here at the Peppermill. Absolutely fabulous. Now, Sean, you are an actor. How long have you been in this town acting?
Well, I've been here since it was late March. I came over from LA. I lived in LA.
March of this year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I was asking. You are really a new one then.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know when that stops. It's like I'm still new, and one day you're not new anymore. One day you're not new anymore.
Yeah, you've been here a month, or you've been here a week. It's fine. You now live here. You're a resident.
Yes.
Now, have you actually moved here?
Yeah. I live over here. I got family here, so I did 3.5 years in LA and doing various things. It was great. I did. I had the day job that got me out there.
Yes.
And then outside of that, I was working on my documentary. It was kind of probably about a third or a quarter of the way into it by the time we got out there.
Oh, wonderful.
And the documentary.
What sort of documentary is it?
Actually, I'm an 80s horror movie kid, so...
Okay, well that's pretty cool, because horror movies are always in.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah, they're always in.
Oh, yeah. And so the documentary I did was on the backstory of Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Okay.
And why it's specifically that one in the series is because I had met Richard Brooker, and he was the villain Jason with the hockey mask. He was the first guy to ever wear that, to set that look.
Really?
And that's more the heart. That's the heart of the documentary. It's the core of it is Richard's backstory, because he suddenly passed at 58. And when I heard about that, I'd met him a few times. He was a really grounded guy. He was cool. He had lots of fun stories. Very personable. I thought, well, maybe I should share my set video photography, because I had visited where they filmed that movie, and share it with the fans and dedicate it to Richard.
Absolutely.
It just started from there, and then when I got over to LA, actually a lot of his co-stars still live in the area, so it made it a lot more doable to do more with it.
I was going to say, it's probably easier because you don't need such a cast, so it's not going to take as long doing a documentary. It's probably much easier doing a documentary or getting yourself into filming and doing the whole thing than a film. Is it kind of easier? Or?
Actually, I found it. Yeah.
See?
From my experience, actually working with my editors, Joseph Davis and Brian Gerson, they live in LA, and they've been very familiar with the filming business out there. Documentaries are actually a lot harder.
Really?
Yeah, because you write the script, but then you're in the narrative, and I did that, and then you're doing the interviews, and you're asking questions based on the narrative, and a lot of times interviewee doesn't have, well, I don't really know anything about that, or I can't offer about that. So you're like scrambling to find
information out about that, so you can actually keep the story in order. Because I would imagine a document has to be quite in order, as it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. But it really does, because you can't have something that finished up here, over here. So you've got to be careful how you get it together. Yeah,
because basically, a film. It's my understanding, a film, here's the story, here's the cast, here's the scenes, you shoot the scenes, you put it together, and that's usually how it goes. Documentary, you're kind of puzzle piecing things together all over the place. And you're trying to find new stuff too, because I was familiar that there had already been a couple of documentaries done on this series, so...
you wanted to make it different.
I wanted to make it special and unique for Richard and for the fans. That's I think we achieved that.
Did you get it together? Now, when you get all that together, where does it go after you finish? You put it into film festivals on the documentary department?
Actually, I just announced this yesterday. We just got accepted to our 7th film festival for the documentary in New York City, and it's going to be there next month on the big screen. So.
Guess where he's going to be next month? New York City, right? Absolutely, you're going to be presenting it. Have you've done this before, obviously, or haven't you?
Well, actually, the documentary was my first undertaking as a filmmaker. The first thing I did was around 2012. I'm from Indiana, so in Indianapolis, I was with an agency there, and was doing some commercials here and there. And then I moved west into Phoenix area and pitched the idea for the documentary to a crew I had met. And then I landed the day job and moved west, and I kept it going. And then I didn't know how I was going to do it, being from Indiana. And when I heard about Richard's passing at that time, I was living in Indianapolis, so I didn't know how I was going to make this happen.
Since he just passed away, and you want to talk to him, and so it's kind of impossible now.
Well, I mean, it was, the idea for it that day was, to share the set video photography with the fans and dedicate it to Richard. And it would have been probably a 2-minute video at best, with some music over it, and at the end it would have said for Richard. But life took me west, as it were, and
life does do that. It takes you somewhere else where you're not actually prepared to go, and all of a sudden you're in it. Do you think that you are right now 100% into acting and filming? Because I truly believe, you said you have another job and you have to obviously make a living, but if you want to really do something, you have to be into it 100%.
Sure, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I mean, that's my roots.
Your whole lifestyle, because unfortunately for the women, we seem to only have a certain time we can go up to, and then we're kind of not very good. And in Europe is different. In Europe, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still in the movie industry. America's there's kind of a cut-off point with a woman. But with a man, and you're a very good-looking man, you've got a certain look to yourself, you can play a lot of different parts. What I see, you can play a lot of different parts. And so it's sort of there's much more out there for a man, and also when you see a movie, there's far more men in the movie than there are women. Agree?
In which movie?
Any movie? Most movies. There's far more men than there are women in movies.
I don't know if I've ever looked at a movie that way.
Well, I do, because I'm a woman, and I understand that.
I just watch it for the story, and if it engages me and pulls me in.
But I'm talking more about getting parts and getting into the industry. So for you, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still go into it, and there's many parts you can play.
Well, I'll tell you what, 3.5 years in LA was no easy experience. It's a grind, and it's tough, and it's a hustle, and I had to do it every day. The last 6 or 7 months living there, I was trying to book as much as I could for TV shows, for consistency on TV shows. Living out there, I did the documentary, and then when that went into post-production, I started pursuing acting more fully because it freed up time from the documentary and the day job, and I had a girlfriend at the time, so it was a busy schedule during that time period. But I did I did as many auditions as I could, and then got involved with people going to networking meetups,
and all that stuff.
and making connections and working on films.
What sort of parts have you been booked for? Are you going into a certain character? Because you have a great look. I think so. But but what sort of parts do they choose you for?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I've been all over the board. I really enjoy playing the villain, though. I like the bad guy.
You want to be the bad guy.
I like the bad guy.
You want to be a 007, huh?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the villain is 007.
There you go.
Actually, I was named after that man.
Really?
Connery.
Oh, really?
Mom was a big fan. So.
Oh, so that's where he gets his name Sean from. Well, I met Sean. Well, I didn't actually meet him, but I was in London a few years ago, and Sean was there, and I didn't even recognize him. And somebody said to me, and you said, Ninon, that's Sean Connery. I said, oh
yeah.
yeah, and it was because they're so different on screen than they are off screen. That was something totally different. So, where are you going now? Anything coming up?
Let's see.
Apart from New York.
Yeah, right now, let's see. Actually, last night we had a reveal party for a feature film that I'm in. It's shooting on November 4th is the start date.
Okay.
And it's called When the Tables Turn. It's a film by Joko Films.
Okay.
And so definitely a shout out to them, and it's just fantastic. I'm looking.
Joko Films?
Yeah, Joko Films.
Joko Films. You made him a happy man.
Absolutely. And then I have a friend of mine, Renee Rivas. He shot a 20-minute short film for the 40th anniversary of John Carpenter's Halloween, which is this year.
Okay.
And that's going to be released for free on YouTube on October 1st. And I saw it. He actually screened it at the Action on Film Festival, which actually the documentary was in as well.
Okay.
And it's just fantastic. I think Halloween's my favorite horror film, and his too.
Yeah, it seems like, because you like all this horror stuff, so Halloween would be absolutely ideal. It's coming up at that
fantastic.
way. If anybody wants to book you for acting, how can they reach you?
Sean Richards. I'm on Facebook. I'm represented by Best Agency. So, just send me a message through
All right,
Messenger.
Best Agencies out there. I've heard of Best Agencies before, and you're absolutely fantastic. So, shout out to Best Agencies. Don't forget to get in touch with Sean Richards. He's absolutely incredible actor, and he's a director. I think you do directing as well.
I did a little bit of directorship on the documentary, doing the interviews and working with the editors.
He's a man of many moves in the movie industry. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.